Hey everyone. If you'll think back to yesterday, what we talked about, we looked at some different receipts and how we could come up with different equations to find out what prices matched with which items on that receipt. Okay. And then we learned that all those equations put together is called a system of equations. Okay. So think back to that, what the definition of systems of equations is, okay? So two or more equations that have the same variables. So if you'll remember, if we plugged in a value for m, we would have to be able to plug in that value for m in every one of those equations that we have. So that's kind of the connection between the equations, okay? So let's do a little review. So that first example, I think, was we had 3 masks and 2 hats, and our total was $39. Okay, so let's remember what kind of equation we came up with. So what would our total be? That would be $39, right? Okay. All right, and then we said we had 3 masks and 2 hats. The issue was we didn't know how much the masks cost and how much the hats cost, right? So the variables that we're going to use for the cost was M and H, okay? And we're adding those together because we're getting a total. And then we had 3 masks, so we're going to add a 3, and 2 hats, so 2 in front, okay? So that was our first equation for the first receipt, and then we just did the same thing for the other receipts. They just had some more items attached to them as well. All right, so what we're going to do today is you have a Desmos activity linked in Schoology. So let's erase this. Okay, so you have that Desmos activity linked in Schoology, and what that kind of is going to cover is systems of equations, but it's going to be 2x2 systems of equations. So a 2x2 means that it only has 2 variables with 2 equations, right? So it could be something like 2x plus 3y equals 5 as our first equation. And then our second equation could be x minus 5y equals 10. Okay, so you see we only have 2 variables. What are our variables? X, and the other one is y. And we only have 2 equations, right? So that's how we come up with a 2x2 system of equation, okay? So if you'll think back to your other math courses, you've already learned how to set up and solve 2x2 systems of equations, okay? So this is kind of going to be a review. Specifically, what we're looking at on this Desmos is how to solve these 2x2 systems by graphing, okay? So if we put these 2 equations, these 2 functions on the graph, can we find the solution, and how can we find that solution, okay? So go ahead and get started on that Desmos. After you've done that, there's going to be an exit ticket for you to complete and turn in, and I will see y'all next time.